Good evening, everyone. My name is Natalie Fanny Gonzalez. I'm the president of the Montgomery County Council. We're going to start our evening CIP hearing. Today is February the 10th, 2026. We will continue with agenda item 9, a public hearing on the FY27 capital budget and FY27-32 capital improvements program. We are going to have two council members who I think right now they are online. Are they both online? They're not? Okay, never mind. Forget that I said that. Committee work sessions on the FY27 capital budget and the FY27-32 capital improvements program will be scheduled through the end of April. As a reminder of our public hearing testimony guidelines, your comments must be limited to issues relevant to the public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You will hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everyone abiding by their allotted time, which is only 3 minutes. Please do not boo, clap, cheer anyone, because it's disrupted and it's a distraction. So please just keep it quiet. And I'm going to ask the first 7 people to come forward. First, Mayor Monique Ashton, Councilmember Marisa Valerie, Mayor Talisha Searcy, Ms. Gloria Paricio Blackwell, Mike Ricci, Joanna Weisner, and Ashley Vespoli. So when you speak, please state your name right on top, and we're going to start with Mayor Monique Ashton.
Good evening, County Council members. We appreciate the opportunity to testify. My name is Monique Ashton. I'm speaking on behalf of our Mayor and Council and providing a Rockville's official testimony. I also want to start off by thanking the county, Montgomery County Public Schools, Rockville City Police Department. Through our partnership, our teams were able to quickly respond to a devastating news of a school shooting at Wootton. They worked together to secure the building, get the victim to care, arrest the suspect, retrieve the weapon. I also want to thank every single MCPS staff member from Wootton and Robert Frost who worked on reunification to get our students back to their families. There's a lot more work to do to heal from this moment, a lot more answers needed, and collectively we need to work together to make sure that our schools are safe. With that said, we'd like to discuss some important issues and matters regarding schools in Rockville. The Mayor and Council are deeply disappointed that both the Board of Education's requested CIP and the County Executive's CIP did not include funding for Twinbrook Elementary School and Wootton High School as major capital projects. We urge the County Council to use its budget authority to fund major projects for both schools. Rockville is strongly opposed to the recommendation to close Wootton High School, convert it to a holding school, and move the campus to the new Crown Farm High School. For Twinbrook, we urge you to implement a feasibility study with extensive community engagement and then suddenly put the Twinbrook Elementary School at the major capital project on hold until a future CIP. This is a devastating setback for the Twinbrook community, which has been advocating for this desperately needed project for decades. We have been vigorously advocating for this new school since 2009. It is a Title I school. There are a lot of issues both at the physical capacity as well as the social needs of that school, and we implore you to fund the major capital project. Meadow Hall Elementary School has been experiencing significant and ongoing plumbing issues. Most recently, they endured a third-floor flooding and due to the aging pipes. The recurring issues have raised serious concerns about safety and quality of their learning environment. Please consider adding Meadow Hall to CIP and making a plan for the future. For Wootton High School, we are disappointed with the recommendation to make Wootton a holding school and move it to Crown Farm. This is a dramatic departure from the purpose for which Crown High School was created, to address overcrowding in mid-county high schools. It is not aligned with the state and county policies focused on adding housing where children can walk to school. RM has 9 portables. This plan does not address the overcrowding at RM. What is the county going to do to address the overcrowding and the housing growth needed? We can't build housing and support economic development without school capacity. Our city already has multiple MCPS properties that are in a state of transition, such as Stone Street, Carver, Rock Terrace. Please do not add another vacancy in Rockville. It is essential that Wootton remain walkable. The Wootton renovation must be funded. Please do not close Wootton High School. On behalf of the Lincoln Park community, we also urge you to help support the relocation of MCPS Materials Management Facility and the continued restoration of Lincoln High School. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Marisa Valeri.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Valeri, and I am a city council member here in Rockville. Prior to becoming a council member, and most importantly, I was a first-time mom walking her son to his first day of kindergarten at Twinbrook Elementary in 2013. I implore you to stand for real equity and justice and include Twinbrook Elementary in the MCPS CIP budget this year. I have seen the challenges Twinbrook faces from all aspects, and I am at a loss as to why Twinbrook Elementary is continually passed over for capital investment. My son could not drink from the water fountains back in 2013, and children today still can't. The pipes are original to the building, which was built in 1952, 73 years old. It is not ADA accessible at all, and there are reports of mold festering in corners of the school, unmitigated, and evidence of rat infestation. MCPS promotes a vision of equity and inclusion that it does not seem to follow itself when prioritizing capital improvements. Twinbrook Elementary has an 89.1% minority enrollment, a 70.91% farms rate, most likely artificially low due to the fears of the community right now, a 43% ELD rate, and there are no linkages to learning program at Twinbrook Elementary. The second largest municipality in the county has exactly one linkages to learning program. In Twinbrook as a whole, 49% of children ages 5 to 17 live in poverty. 41% of the Latino population live in poverty, and there is a 35% food insecurity rate. In FY23, Twinbrook Elementary distributed 122,000 pounds of food received from the Capital Area Food Bank. The Twinbrook community, who is most in need of support and services, has a school that hasn't been significantly invested in by MCPS for 40 years. A school that, for the vast majority of children, is a literal lifeline to food, safety, and a path forward to break the cycle of poverty. A school that is not safe, not clean, and does not ensure accessibility, nor supports the learning environment. Please step up and show MCPS what it means to live the stated values of justice, equity, and inclusion. Set the children of Twinbrook up for success and commit to investing in Twinbrook Elementary in our wonderful neighborhood through a CIP beginning this budget year. These children cannot wait any longer. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to make a quick announcement that we have council members Jawando and Sales virtually today. Next, we have Mayor Talisha Searcy.
Good evening. My name is Talisha Searcy, and I'm the mayor of the city of Tacoma Park. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. The city has a growing number of young families. As a result, the strain on the city's already stretched primary and secondary schools is felt by most households in the city. We are grateful to County Executive Elrich and Superintendent Thomas for including the replacement of Piney Branch Elementary School in their proposed CIPs. We strongly urge you to support funding for full replacement of Piney Branch Elementary School. Piney Branch was built in 1971, over 50 years ago, and has had no substantial revitalization since then. Many classrooms have no natural light. All major systems like HVAC and plumbing are at or near their end of useful lives. And the recent facility conditions assessment that evaluated over 60 elementary and secondary schools rated Piney Branch as the worst. Moreover, this school provides valuable community assets with its pool and gymnasium. Recently, I had an opportunity to speak with a group of Piney Branch students who participate in Girls on the Run. Upon learning what the mayor does, it broke my heart to hear 20 young girls beg me to do something about their school. Mayor, can you fix the cafeteria so it doesn't leak? Mayor, can you make sure the bathrooms work? It's cold in my classroom and we have to wear jackets. Can you fix that? Mayor, can you make sure we keep the pool? It is where I learned to swim. Piney Branch is not the only school attended by Tacoma Park residents and requires repairs. There are other schools in the area facing similar issues and needing improvements. Eastern Middle School needs HVAC and plumbing and exterior facade repairs. Montgomery, Blair, New Hampshire Estates, and Tacoma Park Middle also need new HVAC systems. Rolling Terrace Elementary was noted by the superintendent as needing work, but was completely left out of the CIP. And don't get me started about the Silver Spring International Middle School proposed closure with little to no community engagement and the need for repairs. I am frustrated that our communities are being pitted against each other, forced to compete for limited resources because so many schools across Montgomery County are in dire need of repair. Years of neglect have created unnecessary tensions and inequity, making it feel as though we must fight for basic improvements rather than work together for the benefit of all students. This situation underscores the urgent need for comprehensive investment in our school infrastructure, so no community is left behind. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening, and I appreciate all the work that you do to ensure that every student in Montgomery County receives a quality education. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Gloria Aparicio Blackwell.
Good evening. Buenas noches. My name is Gloria Aparicio Blackwell. As the chair of the Montgomery College Board of Trustees, I bring our appreciation for your commitment to the students we serve. I begin with an urgent need affecting students today. Built when Lyndon Johnson was president, the Theater Arts building is beyond its useful life inside and out and requires attention now. This highly utilized facility serves as a vital community space and a pipeline for workforce development. In response to community needs, theater arts students leave Montgomery College prepared to fill more than 28,000 jobs across the region's art and entertainment industry. Alumni like Shaquille Stewart, the former executive director of Silver Spring Stage, and Camilo Linares, who performs across the region, credit Montgomery College their success. Theater arts is the only place where students can learn and hone their craft to become the scene builders, light and sound techs, as well as actors and directors. Just like STEM students, performing arts students need safe and modern classrooms and labs, technology and equipment that meets today's academics and industry standards. Please modernize this important building. Lyndon Johnson. Now to help the next Shaquille succeed in the DMV's national rank theater sector. Now let me assure you, Montgomery College is ready to meet this moment. Our board, faculty, staff, and students remain vigilant in upholding equity and inclusion. Additionally, as affordability grows as a concern, the college remains the place to obtain a high-quality, affordable education. In fact, the college served more than 46,000 students in the FY25. That has an increase of 16% over FY22. And the students of today are displaced federal workers, veterans, recent high school graduates, or residents looking to upskill, need modern classroom, labs, libraries, secure locations, and assets and IT to unlock their potential. In closing, Montgomery College remains your partner. The CIP doesn't include any new major construction projects and uses fund balance and fee revenue to help cover the cost. We're working with you. So help the college meet this moment. Help us generate the momentum our county needs with modern facilities. Help us deliver an essential education and an extraordinary outcomes. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mike Ricci.
Madam President, distinguished council members, good evening. It is an honor to appear before you again as chair of the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board. I know what you're thinking. I love rec. I love parks. And we appreciate your love, and we love your love. It means a lot, I know, especially to the staffs of these agencies in particular. Last night, with your former colleague at our meeting, we were discussing that old concept of TLC, tender love and care. They go hand in hand. And in many of the cases of our rec centers, they are well loved, but not always well cared for. and we are asking for your help in the CIP to close this gap. I would ask you to consider two of the facilities included for refreshes in this proposal. Upper County in Washington Grove, a beautiful historic area. But once you walk in, you immediately sense the strain. They expanded the weight room by cutting a hole in the wall of a closet. Programming space has to be constantly flipped because there isn't enough room. The kitchen is not functional. Outside, staff have to improvise just to create spaces for kids to gather and play. This is the condition of one of the walls. This community clearly deserves better. Bauer Drive. Bauer Drive should be a crown jewel. I went there in the middle of a workday. The place was packed. The weight room was packed. The gym packed with people playing pickleball. But the bathrooms keep flooding. Caution tape everywhere. A room is essentially almost cut in half because of a slanted ceiling. And this is the kitchen, which we always say kind of looks like a home ec class from the 1960s. I can't say enough about the teams at these centers. As you know, they are doing heroic work, I should say, to make do with what they have. But it shouldn't be necessary, especially when we have facilities like North Potomac, White Oak, and Wheaton that feel like college campuses by comparison. And in this moment, when affordability is indeed the major concern, what could be more valuable than investing in spaces where people can work out, meet, and build community, all at little to no cost? Lastly, I would like to associate myself wholeheartedly with the testimony from the Sports Advisory Committee for the protection of our wildly popular synthetic turf fields. I am keenly aware of the pressure you face on this issue. I know how that goes. Our board, we're just regular people who care about expanding youth sports and talk at every meeting about dealing with our sports deserts across the county. So I would ask you, as you consider this issue, to think about the impact it would have on youth sports, on our senior leagues, because I fear that that's where a lot of this activism is headed. And I know that your own data shows you that. And more importantly, I do not want to lose sight of these pressing needs in front of us. These are great communities. They have brought the love, and now we must provide the care. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Joanna Wisner.
Hello, council members. My name is Joanna Wisner, and I am one of the Damascus Cluster coordinators. My son is a Damascus Cluster student, and I am a proud Damascus resident. I am here to ask you to do one simple thing: fund the Damascus High School Major Capital Project. Unlike some of my friends here tonight, I did not grow up in Montgomery County. I grew up in the Midwest, moved to the West Coast, and now live in Damascus. A few years ago, my husband and I were considering our next move. Where did we want to raise our son? We chose Montgomery County, and more importantly, we chose Damascus. We chose Montgomery County because we felt it combined the things we liked best about the Midwest and the West Coast, but threw in a little East Coast flair. We can get great sushi and Indian food. We can visit the mountains one day and the ocean the next, just like we could in California. Maryland and Montgomery County is a great place to live and raise a family. The stellar reputation Montgomery County Public Schools had in the nation was the cherry on top. I hope the Education Committee and MCPS can work together to get that back. What I did not expect to be doing as a parent of a Damascus Cluster student is this. I never imagined I'd be speaking to the County Council to make sure we would receive much needed funding for a school that should have already been built. I had no idea that public education required individual parents to dedicate their time and energy to these efforts to ensure our students' needs are met. That's exactly what this is about. Our students need a new school. As a community, we love Damascus High School and all the memories that are made there. Generations have walked those halls. It is 75 years old after all. But the time has come to move forward and meet the current needs of this generation and future generations to come. The Up County region is growing and development plans are plentiful. Councilmember Lutke and Balcom know this well, and both have shared their support for this project. The Clarksburg, Damascus, and Laytonsville communities have also shown strong support for this project. The Up County region is paying attention and engaged. We are ready to work with the County Council and MCPS to make this long-awaited project a reality. In addition to Council Members Ludke and Balcom, we want to thank Council Members Glass and Jawando for accepting our invitations to tour Damascus High School and visit our community in recent months. We want to once again extend that invitation to all council members. Please let us know when you're available to tour the high school and connect with us further. Damascus is a special place, and we'd love to share that with you so you know exactly what you are voting to approve. It's not just about money for a school. It's about supporting our community to keep it alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ashley Vespoli.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the County Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am here as a Damascus resident and proud mom of 2 future Damascus Hornets, one of which is here with me today, to say she and our community deserve to go to a safe and healthy school, one without mold or asbestos, with a functional HVAC system where sports announcers don't have to sit on the roof for football games, where students don't have to compete with a bat for chorus concerts, a school with working fire alarms and natural light. These are bare minimums, not state-of-the-art, not luxuries. Yet many kids in our county are forced to go to school in neglected, unhealthy school buildings, forced to try to concentrate while sweating through May, June, and August in sweltering classrooms, forced to wear coats in those same classrooms as they endure standardized testings in the winter. This happens at Damascus High, and it happens to our littlest learners at Woodfield Elementary. This is not acceptable, and we demand more for our children, up county and all county. Our children are suffering and paying the price for decades of mismanagement, botched deals with developers that could have massively increased tax revenue for schools, golden parachutes for leaders in Montgomery County public schools, and many in positions of power pushing forward the status quo in the era of fiscal responsibility. As I said to the Board of Education, I am grateful for Dr. Taylor, grateful to finally have someone willing to ask the tough questions and to try and steer MCPS away from the mistakes of the past, willing to highlight what is not a big ask, but a truly big need. School construction spend has been flat for 17 years. How are we surprised by the current state of our schools? Montgomery County was once one of the richest counties of the country. I was born and raised in Maryland and grew up in Frederick County, and we looked to MCPS as the creme de la creme. They had the school buildings, they had the programs, and they had the sports. What happened? Absolutely nothing. Literally, the buildings are still the same. You could opt not to fund the full CIP, not to increase the debt ceiling, and to continue the status quo. And our schools will continue to crumble. Schools like Damascus and Magruder will continue to get bumped time and time again and continue to deteriorate. Our schools are hemorrhaging need, and we are offering Band-Aids and superficial statements about debt. Montgomery County has the highest impact taxes in the state of Maryland, and here we are with not enough money to fund the CIP. The fundamental maintenance and renovations are an investment in the future. We can choose not to make them, and communities will choose to live elsewhere, or they will go private. Please rebuild Damascus now, fund the full CIP, and raise the debt ceiling. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to welcome the next panel. Jennifer Schneider, Rachel Fitzpatrick, Amy Akerberg Hastings, Janet Resnider, Audrey Resnider, and Minnie Resnider. I bet they're all related. Gus Delgado. Please come forward. We're going to start with Jennifer Schneider. Please state your name right on top. You have 3 minutes. Who's Miss Jennifer? Is that you? Okay, can you please kick it off? Oh, do we need a chair? No, that was 7. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. Okay. My My name is Jen Schneider, and I'm here tonight to ask the board to fully fund the Damascus High School renovation project. But before I begin, I'd like to first acknowledge the Wooten High School families in attendance tonight. I speak on behalf of the entire Damascus community when I say we are so sorry for the frightening incident that occurred on Monday. We stand by you as fellow MCPS student, staff, families, and we look forward to the day when school buildings are a place of safety and protection for every child. I am the mom to 3 future Damascus Hornets, and I myself am also a Damascus alumni. After going out of state for college, my husband and I made the decision to move back home and settle down in Damascus. We quickly realized so much had changed since we had left. Most notably, my sleepy town of Clarksburg was almost unrecognizable. The back roads my friend and I would take to school were now overflowing with new home developments. The fields where we would park at the top and watch the fireworks now overlooked an outlet mall. Yet, as we began to settle in, we realized many things of Damascus had stayed the same. For example, traffic going up 27, especially on a Friday, is still the worst. But the sunset behind Sugarloaf Mountain is unbeatable at a little gravel pathway off of Kings Valley Road, especially when your kids have baseball practice at regional. And let me tell you about opening day at Jimmy Cone. The line will wrap around the entire building, and you will wait at least 45 minutes, but no one complains because you know it's worth it. And it's really not about the soft serve, it's about the people. You see, generation after generation has chosen and will continue to choose to raise their families in Damascus and Clarksburg. And as the roads and the neighborhoods around us change and grow, our pride in the community remains steadfast. I'm asking the council to fully fund the Damascus High School project. Please do not let another generation of Damascus kids say, I heard we were supposed to get a new high school, but... And while some may say Damascus is so out there, and you're welcome for all the snow days, by the way, we are MCPS too. I will reiterate, we are MCPS too. Please do not confuse our town's discouragement with complacency. As an MCPS special educator myself, I know equity is not giving everybody what they want. It is giving people what they need. Damascus and the community deserves a new high school building so that many more generations of Hornets will continue to choose to raise their families through the sunsets and the soft serve and the community that cares. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Rachel Fitzpatrick.
Good evening, Montgomery County Council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Rachel Fitzpatrick, and I am a parent of twin 4th graders and the PTA president at Woodfield Elementary School, a Damascus cluster school. I'm here tonight to ask that you fully fund the Damascus High School rebuild. Damascus High School has been in dire need of a rebuild for years. The last renovation happened in 1978, almost 50 years ago. To say the building is outdated is an understatement. The recent MCPS Facility Condition Index reports gave Damascus one of the worst scores in the county, a 0.6, one being the absolute worst. Also noting that many of our major systems were at the end of their lifespan and in poor condition. Our community has been fighting for a new school for a long time. I'm not naive to the fact that we are one of many schools which needs to be rebuilt, but recent FCI scores and reports have put into perspective just how much the Damascus High School project needs to be fully funded. The county executive included the Damascus High School rebuild in his major capital project CIP budget recommendation, and Superintendent Taylor has also recommended that Damascus High School is the top priority rebuild. Having 2 top county officials include Damascus as a priority sends a strong message that this needs to happen, and this needs to happen soon. In the MCPS boundary studies, Damascus has been identified as expanding by 700 students in every option, including the recommended option H. In our current building, this is impossible. Adding 700 students to alleviate overcrowding from Clarksburg, Gaithersburg, and Laytonsville can only happen if we have the space, the safe space. Adding 700 students to an old building with narrow stairwells, narrow hallways, and systems that are past their end of life should only happen in a building that is safe. Adding 700 students to a building that is known to have mold, exposed asbestos, and water leaks, not to mention the bat that lives in our auditorium. is not safe. Having Damascus recognized as a high school to diminish overcrowding for many up-county schools should put into perspective how important this project is. Damascus High School is not only a high school, but a community hub. The gym, fields, and auditorium are used for many community activities. All of our elementary schools and our middle school hold a winter chorus concert every year in the high school auditorium. This January, parents were unable to watch their own children sing due to space constraints, parking constraints, while also creating potential fire code hazards because of overcrowding. The fire alarms at the high school have been cobbled together in so many different fixes that some of the alarms don't even work if they're pulled. Our Damascus Sports Association, DSA, holds practices in camps and games for football, basketball, baseball, and the fields. Some have to be rescheduled due to roof leaks as recently as January 10th. We need a new community space. We know rebuilds come with growing pains, and our community is ready to face things head on and embrace the end result, a new school our community deserves. Our students have been wishing and waiting for years to have an updated school that is equitable to other schools within Montgomery County, and our turn is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Amy Ackerberg Hastings.
Good evening, President Fanny Gonzalez, members of the County Council, and staff. Thank you for the opportunity to testify about the CIP allocation for MCPS. My name is Amy Ackerberg Hastings. I am the parent of a Richard Montgomery Sr., and I serve MCCPTA as the Central Area Vice President for the Churchill, RM, Poolesville, Rockville, and Wooten clusters. I am here to list some of the CIP projects that these communities are eager to see funded and to request council members to exert political pressure on MCPS's stewardship of capital assets. Additional details can be found in my written testimony. Recognizing that the county cannot fund every project in the unprecedented total requests made in the FY 27 to 32 CIP, our priorities from the county executive's priorities include renovation of the Spring Mill Center into the permanent location for the alternative education program, construction of a new centralized warehouse, renovation of open concept Cold Spring Elementary School, and especially increased funds to address HVAC and roof replacement backlogs. We also want to sound an early warning that electrical and plumbing system failures will increase in number and severity as dozens of installations dating to the 1950s and 1960s exceed their expected lifespans. Twinbrook, Meadow Hall, and Bell Elementary Schools are among the numerous facilities in which these problems are already well documented. For example, 2 outlet fires occurred in Twinbrook just in the first month of this school year. Although we understand that the council can decide which projects to fund, but cannot control how MCPS uses those projects, our second ask is that council members employ persuasion and pressure to discourage MCPS from taking actions with capital assets that will lead to poor outcomes for all students. In particular, we are opposed to permanently relocating Wooten to the Crown site. Overall enrollment is declining at present, but the drop is not precipitous, while construction of new housing developments continues. According to MCPS's own projections for 2040, on average, each of the 27 high schools would be enrolling 1,780 students, which is a reasonable size. We also believe that MCPS is basing decisions on incomplete and misleading data. For example, multiple communities have found gaps in their schools' facility condition assessments. Calculations of school capacities are overstating the number of available seats. January's OLO report on secondary course availability found inequities in the distribution of elective and program courses, which adds to the concerns raised by advocates about the vague framework presented as the 6-region programs proposal. We want to continue the achievements of longstanding flagship programs, and we want students in high-need schools to be fully prepared for success in the programs they choose. That's sound stewardship of physical and human resources. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Next, Janet Rinsnyder.
Good evening, Council President and Council members. My name is Janet Remsnyder, and I am here again because Damascus High School is the oldest high school in the county and cannot continue to absorb delays. It has been in the CIP for years, and our community has done exactly what was asked of us. We waited, we planned, we attended meetings, we accepted shifting timelines while inflation rose, construction costs climbed, and temporary fixes became permanent solutions. This is not theoretical. Aging buildings do not pause deterioration because budgets are tight. As Councilmember Glass has said, when pipes burst, roofs leak, or mold grows behind the walls, it's our students, teachers, and staff who feel the impact every day. This is exactly what is happening in buildings like Damascus High School. And as he has also said, they deserve to have a voice in how we maintain and improve their schools. Damascus is a small community. We don't have the benefit of large political influence or council members or mayors to represent us, but we are a strong community, and we are here whether they are sitting at this table or they're watching at home or they're sitting behind me. We are speaking up for ourselves because this is what we have to do. We've testified, we've waited patiently. What we are asking now is that our lived experience be matched with action, not just words. This is not about amenities or preferences. Clean air is a non-negotiable in all MCPS buildings. Functioning plumbing is a basic requirement. Fire alarms, stairways, and electrical systems that meet code are obligations, not enhancements. Responsible fiscal management means funding unavoidable obligations before they become a liability. Dr. Taylor's CIP recommendation reflects documented system-wide needs, not aspirational projects. He has provided a roadmap out of this mess, and I am asking each of you to support it. Cutting the CIP does not eliminate these obligations. It guarantees higher costs later with fewer choices and greater risks to our students and our young people who are sitting here next to me today. As Councilmember Glass has said, MCPS is one of the best school districts in the nation, and we deserve buildings that match our excellence. That standard must apply to all communities, including those with the oldest schools that have waited the longest. The question before you is not whether Damascus High School needs to rebuild. That decision has already been made by time and deterioration. The only question is whether this council will fund it deliberately. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Audrey Rensnyder.
Good evening, County Council President and Council members. My name is Audrey Remsnyder, and I am a 10th grade student at Damascus High School. I've never spoken in front of the County Council before, but I am grateful for the opportunity and for what this process has already taught me about using my voice and speaking up for the things that matter. That's why I'm here tonight. I care deeply about my school, and I want our building to reflect the strength of our students and staff. Right now, the condition of our school does not match the quality of our education or the pride of our community. When I started at Damascus High School in 2024, I immediately began noticing problems that didn't seem normal for a school. One example is the girls' locker room bathroom near the gym. There is often water all over the floor because the toilets leak when they flush. Students regularly have to step through standing water just to use the restroom. Recently, during my third period class, there were leaking ceiling tiles nearby. Our ceramics teacher has had to deal with damp and leaking areas in the ceiling multiple times, and similar issues have affected my art classroom as well. The plumbing system is another major concern. At one point, our art class went almost a full week without a working sink. We use that sink almost every day to clean materials and complete projects, and not having it disrupted our learning. There are also ongoing issues with pests. In both of my ASL and art classes, teachers have found dead mice and roaches in supply closets and cabinets. No student or teacher should have to learn or work in that environment. Temperature control is also a daily challenge. On very cold mornings when it is around 10 degrees outside, the first floor often feels just as cold inside. Other classrooms are humid or overly warm. Most teachers cannot control the temperature, and it makes it difficult for students to stay comfortable and focused throughout the day. I want to be clear. I'm not sharing these things to complain. I'm sharing them because I love my school and I want to see it improved. A full renovation would address mold concerns, replace outdated plumbing and HVAC systems, improve electrical systems, and repair aging, deteriorating parts of the building. It would create a healthier, safer, and more consistent learning environment for students and staff. This matters to me not just as a current student, but as a member of this community. I have 3 younger siblings who are planning to attend Damascus High School in the future. I want them to walk into a building that is clean, safe, and comfortable. I want them to feel proud of their school the moment they walk through the doors. Students and staff at Damascus have waited many years for this renovation. While I may not be there to see the finished building, I'm speaking tonight because I want things to improve. For my siblings, for future students, and for the teachers who give so much to our community. The people inside Damascus are strong. Our building should be too. I respectfully ask you to fully fund the recommendation you have received and support the capital improvement program for the renovation of Damascus High School. Thank you for your time and for listening to a student who loves her school and wants it to be the best it can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Minnie Snyder. Come on, Minnie.
County Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak today about Damascus, my future high school. My name is Minnie Remsnyder, and I'm a 4th grader at Cedar Grove Elementary School. I've never done anything like this before, but I wanted to use my voice to talk about something I really care about. I am 10 years old, and I learned that people have been asking for a new high school before I was born. That's a really long time. I don't go to Damascus High School yet, but we spend a lot of time there as a family. One of my favorite things to do is go to the concession stand at basketball games with my best friend Ella and get candy. My mom tells me not to eat all the candy, but I usually do. My biggest sister goes to Damascus High School. She tells me stories all the time about what the building is like. And some of the things she tells me I've seen too. I've even heard that some of the cockroaches have names, but I don't want to see them. Bugs are gross. Sometimes when I'm there, some of the bathrooms don't work, and that doesn't seem okay for a school with so many students. Everyone talks about the mold, how the fire alarms don't work, and that the roof leaks when it rains, so my friends can't play basketball because they have to close the gym. I'm excited to be a Hornet one day, but hearing about these problems makes me feel anxious and scared about going to a school like that. Every school should be safe, clean, and working the way it's supposed to. I will graduate high school in 2034. By the time I get there, I hope Damascus High School is a place where students don't have to worry about broken bathrooms, bugs, mold, leaks, or safety systems. Just learning, growing, and being kids. It's my turn to ask, and I'm asking you to fully fund the CIP budget for Damascus High School, so students like me can grow up and go to a school that is safe and healthy for everyone. That's what I'm asking you to do for Damascus High School. I appreciate everyone who is here today to listen to me speak.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Gus Delgado.
Good evening, council members. My name is Gus Delgado, and today I'm the Executive Director of Montgomery Soccer Incorporated, which you more likely know as MSI. As a child, I was a player for MSI, and tonight we are testifying strongly in support of the MCPS CIP request for funding for the installation and replacement of turf fields at 6 schools throughout the county. The truth is, grass fields simply cannot meet the demand for sports in this county due to the near constant wear and tear. To ensure that all who want to play can, we need turf fields. Turf fields can withstand the constant play and provide needed capacity. Thousands more kids can play sports in this county with turf fields and receive the physical and mental benefits of play. MSI is a nonprofit organization that focuses on affordable and inclusive soccer for all. We began over 55 years ago. Later, the county asked MSI to take over the recreational soccer program, which has significantly grown in size, to ensure that affordable soccer would continue to be available for all. At MSI, we believe in a way to play, not pay to play. Over the past 8 years, MSI has paid for 3 turf fields for MCPS, all of which are still in use today at Albert Einstein, Julius West, and Walt Whitman. Players and students come from all over the county to use these fields. MSI has a partnership agreement that you may have heard about. There may be a misconception that MSI has exclusive rights to these fields. Under the partnership agreement, MSI has allocated a limited number of hours. Through its funding of these turf fields, MSI has provided an incredible resource for the county. The impact of this should not be understated, given the budgetary challenges our county has and continues to face. MSI wants to continue its work to fund additional turf fields at other schools and sites throughout the county. This is a win-win for our counties and for the kids. Artificial turf promotes equity. They provide more year-round and all-weather capacity for all sports fields, with better capacity to benefit not only MCPS athletic teams and soccer clubs like MSI, but physical education classes and the broader community as well. This budget cycle is challenging, and MSI is here to help. So let us help. We're ready, willing, and able to assist in the funding of several replacement and additional turf fields. This is going to be a victory for everyone, for the county budget, for MCPS, and for our kids and sports players throughout the entire county. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening.
Thank you so much. Can I get your name? Also, you're the Huffman? Okay, you're the next one. Go ahead. Can you? There.
Hi, I'm Reese. I'm 13 years old. I've been playing soccer since I was 5 with MSI. Turf fields are more reliable and easy to take care of, and turf fields provide a weather-safe and easy-to-maintain surface. When it's raining, you can usually still play. Lots of times when it rains on grass fields, practices or games are usually canceled and leave long-lasting effects. Additionally, I'm also a Julius West student, which is one of the only middle schools in the county with turf fields. And it's amazing to use in PE and school sports. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to give a special thanks to the 3 amazing girls who came to testify protecting their communities. So I never let anybody clap. I'm just doing it for you. So with that, we're going to go to the next panel. Thank you so much. We have next Casey Anderson, Jason Newringer, Michael Raleigh, Evan Fernando, Zainab Abbas, Shayla Burns, Alicia Turner. I don't see, or Mike. No, está with us. I don't see Casey. Who's Jason? No Jason right now. What about Michael Raleigh? He's not here. Evan Fernando? Okay, let's start with you.
Good evening, County Council members. My name is Evan Fernando, a current junior at Watkins Mill High School and resident of Damascus. I'm currently part of the IB program at Watkins Mill and also the president of our EcoMoco chapter. I'm here today to ask you to expand bus service to the Up County, especially expand Route 90 to Damascus. At school, we talk a lot about climate change, how it impacts our planet, our health, and our future. We learn about the greenhouse effect, sustainability, and the importance of protecting our environment. But beyond the science, I've also learned that the effects of climate change and environmental decisions don't impact everyone equally. Communities like mine often bear the greatest burden. The Montgomery Village area is a lower income community designated as disadvantaged. Marginalized communities are often located in areas more vulnerable to climate impacts. Lower income communities frequently have inadequate infrastructure to withstand climate-related events, leading to greater damage and displacement. I want to thank you all for removing the proposed M83 highway from the Master Plan of Highways and Transitways, and for choosing not to spend $1 billion on a destructive highway. Imagine what we can do now with that kind of investment for our schools, for public transit, or for climate solutions that actually move us forward rather than take us back. Specifically, some of this money could be used to expand Route 90 as well as other ride-on routes. Some people may say that people living up county don't use the ride-on buses, but I would like to speak to the contrary. Living in Damascus, I have taken the bus to Watkins Mill numerous times. However, I always have to take 2 buses to get there, which takes more than an hour. If we had more funds spent towards our transit programs, we would be able to accommodate more people like me who rely on the buses because they may not have cars, live with disabilities, or are too young to drive, or for any other reasons, to make the typical hour bus ride shorter, saving time for everyone. Additionally, I have friends at Watkins Mill who walk 30 to 40 minutes every day to school, as they are within a certain radius where school buses aren't provided. Transit has helped most of these friends of mine and has allowed them to speed up their journey to school, even if it is by 10 to 15 minutes. It would also be critical to have a bus running in Damascus on the weekends as they do on weekdays. I urge you to invest in expanding Route 90 and other ride-on services in the Up County, investments that truly serve our communities and help all of us thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go next with Ms. Zeba Abbas. There you go. Can you please turn on the mic? Right there. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Zainab Abbas, the founder and CEO of SciTech to You. Thank you for the opportunity to share the work and challenges of SciTech to You. Last year, SciTech to You served more than 1,000 youth, 94% of whom are Montgomery County youth. We partnered with WorkSource Montgomery at the World of Work event hosted at Montgomery College, and we supported 13 Excel Beyond the Bell programs across middle schools, including Francis Scott Key, Neelsville, Argyle, Forest Oak, Roberta Clemente, and others. We've also collaborated with, we did this through collaboration with Montgomery County Collaboration Council. We offered droning, robotics, mechanical engineering, and Ignite program in partnership with TechBridge Girls. This year, we will be offering financial literacy, soccer engineering, anatomy, and physiology. We hosted Teen Science Cafe at the Islamic Center of Maryland, launched our very first Tech Challenge team, which placed 6th in the quarterfinals its first year. We also offered Technovation program at Gaithersburg Youth Center at Robertson Park. We provided tutoring for elementary, middle, and high school youths and participated in STEM and career fairs at schools across the county, including John Poole, Hoover, Banneker Middle Schools, Magruder, Richard Montgomery, Quince Orchard High Schools, Sligo Creek, and Waters Landing Elementary School. We also hosted Signature Summer Camp, where youth were immersed in engineering, chemistry, health, and wellness, soccer, field trips, and more. Importantly, the majority of these programs were provided at no cost to families we serve. None of this work is possible without our dedicated staff. Every member of our team is a Montgomery County Public School graduate under the age of 24, of course, except for me. Young leaders giving back to the community that were raised by Montgomery County. However, we recently lost the space that we renovated 1.5 years later. And this is where most of this work happens. We are looking to find space so that we can continue the work. We've been supported by foundations and local governments, and without space to do the work, we're not going to be able to serve as many students as we have in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Sheila Burns.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Burns. I am a Damascus resident, and I'm here to request that you fully fund the project to rebuild Damascus High School. I live in Damascus with my husband and 3 children, ages 3, 6, and 9. We love where we live and feel a strong sense of community. My main points in support of this project is that the high school is truly our community hub, and we have waited our turn. I know that naming the high school as the heart of a community is a common and I'm sure accurate claim. I would like to highlight that in Damascus, the high school is our main option for gathering and entertainment. We do not have a bowling alley, skating rink, or movie theater. What we do have is the high school. The high school provides a vital third space in our community, separate from home or work, where people of all ages can gather and enjoy entertainment and interact. From preschoolers and elementary age children, including my own, to teenagers, working adults, and retired folks, you can find all of us there in a safe and inexpensive, if not free, environment. All are welcome. We might attend a basketball, football, or softball game, or we might attend a musical put on by the theater program. In today's day and age, we need spaces where we can see and get to know our neighbors more than ever. Let's ensure this avenue is maintained. The high school is currently a popular community space despite the many challenges of the aging facility, and I need it to be in good working order when my children are teenagers and not only students there, but also looking for places to go for fun. My second point is that we in Damascus have waited our turn. It is abundantly clear that there are many very real needs within the county, and resources always are limited. But this rebuild has to make the priority list now. We all know that Damascus High School, at 75 years old, is the oldest high school in the county that has not had a significant renovation. And despite the excellent efforts of maintenance staff, it just cannot continue as it is. Like other schools, we have been in the CIP before, only to be delayed and cut. Like other communities, we are told there have been promises of a new school for decades. The events described above happened despite a building living well beyond its intended lifespan, including crumbling infrastructure, fire alarms that do not work, plumbing problems, bats with names, and the cockroaches. This is without even touching on the additional hundreds of students we look forward to welcoming following the boundary study. I truly hate to be the squeaky wheel and resort to this airing of grievances. I also hate that we are in direct competition with other school communities who have justified concerns. We are stuck in a spot of having to say, our school is the worst. For the record, I want all of these other schools to have their needs met as well. Please fund our rebuild, keep us in the CIP, prioritize Montgomery County children and schools. And as a PS, please also fund the parks. I am so excited for the extension of Magruder Branch Trail into Damascus. Thank you.
Ms. Turner?
Is it on? Hi, my name is Alicia Turner, and I'm here to urge you to approve a CIP that includes a new building for Damascus High School. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge the weight of the decision that you are being asked to make with limited resources. I've been watching the testimony over the last 2 days, and I don't envy you, and I really empathize with the position that you've been put in. I want to thank you for serving and being willing to make these decisions for our communities. Unlike many in the Damascus community, I did not grow up here. I was raised in Howard County by a father who proudly graduated from MCPS, and I grew up hearing ad nauseum how exceptional MCPS was. That pride is what led me to move here, excited to raise my own children, now 3 and 6, in what I believe to be one of the best school systems in our country. So it is with profound disappointment that I find myself navigating concerns of lead, black mold, and asbestos. My son attends Damascus Elementary School, which was built in the early 1930s. And before he first started his first day of kindergarten, I was warned that the water fountains don't work because of lead contamination. It is unacceptable that that is an environment that we deem suitable for children. And it is baffling that this is even up for debate. Research from the EPA, NIH, and the U.S. Department of Education all show deteriorating school facilities harm student health, they increase absenteeism, and they reduce academic performance. This is why the superintendent recommended a new high school for Damascus, and that recommendation reflects careful analysis and professional judgment. As one does when they live in Damascus, I became involved in youth sports, stepping into a leadership role with the Damascus Sports Association. Athletics are a huge point of pride here, but sports reveal something far deeper. Supporting children is woven into the very fabric of this community. It is part of our collective identity. I regularly see parents whose own children have long grown and they're still coming back year after year to coach, mentor, and serve. That commitment is not casual or convenient. It is ingrained in Damascus. It speaks to a community where investing in young people is not optional, it is instinctual. At the end of the day, our shared commitment is to these children. And Damascus has waited and absorbed delay after delay. Yet patience does not diminish our obligation. We have a fundamental duty to the children to provide safe, functional schools. Approving a new high school for Damascus is a reflection of our values and our commitment to the generation that comes. You, as elected officials, have the ability to do what is right by all of us. And I know that when you ran for office, it was with that very purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Casey Anderson.
I'm Casey Anderson. I'm the president of Mid-Atlantic Off-Road Enthusiasts, the mountain bike club that covers everything from the Pennsylvania line down to south of Fredericksburg all the way to West Virginia. And I want to make 3 points. The first is the Parks Department and Rec Department surveyed the county without saying that it was the Parks Department and Rec Department doing it a few years ago and found that parks are tied with the school system as the #1 rated factor in what makes Montgomery County a great place to live. They are tied with the school system. All due respect to the school system, and I appreciate your shout out to the parks. The parks are, in fact, on par with the school system in level of importance to Montgomery County residents at what makes this the kind of place they want to live, do business, build their lives. Second point I want to make is we are asking for a very modest increase in the funding for natural surface trails. Countywide impact all over the place. Every single one of you are district council members. Natural surface trails improve the quality of life and people appreciate it. the amount of money that we're asking for as an increase in this capital budget is less than the amount the county executive proposes to spend on renovating a single elevator bank in Silver Spring. Think about that. For the price of renovating an elevator, you can improve the quality of trail access, maintenance, experience, connections to neighborhoods that give people constructive, healthy, positive ways to go get some exercise, to get exposure to nature, and to connect with other people. There is no better value for your money. Third point I want to make is the capital budget for parks has been decimated by the county executive's recommendations. If you adopt that, you are not going to get any of the projects you want. I know every single one of you from experience will have people tugging on your sleeve saying, could we build Johnson's Local Park? Could we build Farmwomen's Market in Bethesda? Could we bring Spring Strong Museum over on the Northwest Branch? Could we renovate the Jessup Blair House? Am I right, Kate Stewart? And the fact is, this budget leaves no room for that. I know everybody will say, we'll just find the money, get it out of the couch cushions. The Parks Department has already found $5 million for Johnson's Local Park by rooting around the couch cushions. It's over there. There's no more money in the couch cushions. I'm sorry. If you do not add back money for Parks' capital budget, you will not be able to build Johnson's Local Park at the level that that community expects. You will not be able to build Wheaton Adventure Park at all. You're not going to be able to improve natural surface trails. There is no more money available. You have got to do something to bring back some money into the parks budget. It does not require billions and billions of dollars. Again, I know the school system has needs, but I'm telling you, this is crumbs next to all the other things you're going to be asked to fund. If you can find $6 million to put back in this capital budget, it would make a big difference to a whole bunch of projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Raleigh.
Good evening, Council President Fanny Gonzalez and council members. It's great to be back in this very familiar room with so many old friends. As you know, I had the privilege of serving as park director for 10 years before I retired in 2024. So during those 10 years, I had the opportunity and privilege to come speak to you all every 6 months and give you an update on our work program. And what I tried to do during those presentations is to be a little bit in your face about you gave us resources. We came up here, we told you what those resources would do, and I would come and try to prove to you to the best of my ability that we delivered with that money on what we said we would do. Pictures, videos, graphs, pie charts, and just say, you told us that you had priorities, our priorities matched your priorities, and we would deliver, whether it was advancing conservation, education, transportation, recreation, human health and wellness, all those things that the parks deliver. We would come back and I would try to show you that we delivered upon those things. So we're asking for that restoration once again. If we had to live with the county executive's budget during my tenure as department director, the parks would be a semblance of what they are today. They really would be. They would be in disrepair. There would be very few new parks, very few new facilities. Our new residents would not be getting the parks in their areas that they deserve. We would not be meeting trending needs like cricket and pickleball and all those things. And as the former chair said, the great thing is that we're not talking tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or billions of dollars. We're talking several $1 million each year in either our capital and operating budget. Makes a huge difference about whether the park system moves forward or the park system slides backward. So I'm just asking you in a very tough budget year again to do everything you can to restore money to come close to the Parks Department's request. And clearly I did learn something during my tenure because I'm giving 50 seconds back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, Jason Uringer, last call for him. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to call on the next panel. We have Rebecca Eicher, Marion Edey, Ellie Kleiman, Link Howing, Brian Rabin, Nurian Kadir, Daniel Press. Please state your name right on top. And we're gonna start with Rebecca. Sayou, can you please start? Thank you so much.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Rebecca Eicher, and I'm here tonight as the Northwood Cluster Coordinator for the MCC PTA, representing thousands of Silver Springs students and families, and as a concerned parent of 2 MCPS students. We're grateful for the county's investment in Northwood High School and the commitment to Eastern Middle School and Highland View Elementary School. However, MCPS has historically underfunded schools in Silver Spring. And tonight, I'm here to remind you that 2 of our beloved, diverse, and resilient schools, Sligo Creek Elementary and Silver Spring International Middle School, desperately need your attention and commitment in the 2027 CIP. 25 years ago, MCPS promised the Old Blair High School building, which was built in 1935, would be transformed into a facility appropriate for a middle school. For decades, Sims students and our community have waited for MCPS to honor that commitment. Sadly, in the fall of 2025, MCPS made it clear that it does not intend to keep its word. The district proposed closing Sims, relocating Sligo Creek Elementary, and using these buildings as holding schools for the next 2 to 3 decades. MCPS now argues that the only option is to shutter these schools because, in Superintendent Taylor's words, the facility has reached the end of its useful life. Yet nearly 2,000 students are legally required to spend 7 hours a day in these buildings and will continue to do so for years and decades to come. We're grateful that the county executive paused MCPS's plans. Now we need all of you to step up and do right by the children and staff at Sims and Sligo Creek Elementary by investing in these schools in this CIP to address urgent life safety and health needs. These are not cosmetic concerns. Students and staff face real and ongoing safety risks. Regardless of what an inaccurate facility condition index may suggest, we're asking you to invest in solutions that fix the infamous Stairwell 7, where many children have been trampled trying to get to class. We need you to fix that so no child risks being trampled trying to get to class on time. Also facing and addressing failing HVAC system, a leaky roof, and gutters that cause extreme temperature swings, water intrusion, and moisture in the building. We need remediation for mold and indoor air quality in the science wing, band room, and other learning spaces. Delaying these repairs will only increase costs, as others have pointed out. More importantly, it increases the risk to the health and safety of students and staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can continue. You can send the rest of your testimony if you have more to say, okay? Next, we have Marion. Go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, I'm a longtime environmental activist and volunteer for the Sierra Club. I'm here today to urge you to spend your budget money on grass fields, not synthetic turf. You can't solve the problems with synthetic turf just by not using tire chrome. The artificial grass blades can't be made without a lot of plastic, about 40,000 pounds of it in the average field. The industry admits it must use PFAS. It can be up to 38 pounds in a field, according to a Swedish study. The fields start shedding plastic as soon as they are put down. From weather and use, millions of toxic microparticles. This continues long after they are replaced, since there's no tracking, no accountability about where they go, often simply dumped. Our wells and municipal water systems are not equipped to remove PFAS from our drinking water. You can't claim later that you didn't know. There's a ton of information out there now linking PFAS to higher risks of liver damage, cancer, immune disorders. Others have talked about the dangers to children, so I will focus on impact to waters and oceans. These plastic microparticles are highly toxic to many forms of marine life, including fish like trout and salmon. The smaller the particle, often more deadly. The tsunami of plastic going into our oceans is now a global crisis. Think of all the many sources there are of plastic pollution. The bags, the food containers, the packaging of everything you buy, the synthetic rubber on all the tires of all the vehicles on the road. If you had to guess, how much of this plastic pollution is coming from synthetic turf alone? It varies by location, of course, but one 2023 peer-reviewed study by a team of 7 scientists looking at Spain said 15% of the PFAS and microplastics in those waters came from synthetic turf alone. A Chinese study estimated 12%. The industry has its own pet studies claiming almost no leakage from plastic fields, but you have only to believe your own eyes to know that's a lie. Children are taking pictures of their hands full of plastic dust and decaying fibers scooped right up off the fields. Who do you believe? I want to thank the County Council for passing a plastic bag bill last year, one small step to reduce our plastic pollution. That will take work, but is well worth doing. Here is something else you can do which might have just as much impact and is way easier. The low-hanging fruit, perhaps, to help with this tsunami. Just say no to synthetic turf. Don't spend $70 million or more doing something which makes the problem so much worse. Spend it on grass fields instead.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Kleiman?
Am I on?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, distinguished members of the County Council. My name is Ellie Kleinman, and I'm a school counselor at New Hampshire Estates Elementary School in Silver Spring, built in the 1950s. This is my 10th year as a counselor in MCPS, and this year's unlike any other I can remember. On top of the poverty and immigration-related trauma that many of our students and families have regularly faced, schools in the Montgomery-Blair cluster have been ground zero for ICE activity in the county. This has led to fear, instability, and significant emotional stress within the NHE community. Our teachers and staff at NHE go above and beyond to support our students every single day. It is frustrating and disheartening when these same teachers and staff and our students who are already facing so many challenges have to suffer from the effects of our inadequate ventilation, poorly designed HVAC systems, excessive moisture, and building deterioration, which has led to staff and student illnesses and respiratory issues as a result of mold growth over 20 plus years. Later this evening, you will be hearing more details from 2 of our teachers. Rather than share similar details, I want to focus on the funding we need to fix NHE and other schools in similar states of neglect across MCPS. I was incredulous over the weekend, truly incredulous, when I read that a majority of this body voted not to adopt the county executive's recommendation to raise general obligation bond limits to $390 million by FY 2032. As the county executive shared, we know that the county's vote to raise the guideline to $300 million was insufficient to sustain even existing projects, let alone new initiatives. Many of our schools are in a state of deterioration. Residents of Montgomery County not only expect prudent management of our resources, we also expect that you, our representatives, will take strong action to bring our older, neglected schools suffering crisis conditions like New Hampshire Estates back to a state of excellence by rebuilding them rather than continuing to put on endless Band-Aids. As a mom, my daughters were fortunate to attend Lux Manor, Tilden Middle School, and Walter Johnson, and as of today, both Lux Manor and Tilden have been completely rebuilt, while New Hampshire Estates building has continued to decline. If we truly want to put our money where our mouth is when we talk about equity, then we need to make New Hampshire Estates a safe and healthy place where our educators can work over a lengthy career and our children can thrive. Thank you.
Thanks. Next is Link. Mr. Link.
Hi, I'm Lynn Coing of the Fair Access Committee for the Western County. We appreciate that the council approved funding for a new Western County Community Center that includes a first-in-the-county clinic space we desperately need. Your partnership with our community on this project has been vital, and we thank you all. We know we only have design funding in the budget, and we urge that there be no delays in the out-year construction funding. The budget this year does not include the innovative, cost-efficient proposal the committee has made to install a pool bubble system on the Sarah E. Auer outdoor pool. The pool is open only for 3 to 4 months a year and is unused much of the time. Meanwhile, the swim team, young families, older adults, and especially disabled residents who need the facility for everything from practice to rehab exercises must get to facilities that are sometimes 15 miles or more away. Think of how much more the pool could do for our community and the rest of the county if it could become a year-round facility. We could not only use the facility for practices and family entertainment year-round, we could also hold more of our own competitions and events of all kinds, attracting visitors from other areas. The county really needs more indoor pools because demand is high, and this would cost-effectively add another pool. We've done an analysis and found that a year-round pool could generate 68,000 visitors to our area versus 17,000 last year at various competitions. Possibly 20 competitions could be held at the pool because it's year-round versus 5 last year. And it provides a welcome site for over 1,600 seniors who live in the Western County and those with disabilities to swim and exercise, especially for rehab purposes. The committee has done the hard work of researching this process and the technology, and the proposed budget is relatively inexpensive. The potential offsetting revenues that I just mentioned are significant, and its benefits to the county and our residents are also substantial. We urge the county leaders to fund this project in the upcoming year. A reminder, as these projects go forward, though, the county itself says in a rec department report that it offers virtually no programming in our area because there are no facilities. We welcome the county's resources and programming as the community center and other facilities go forward. However, as we do, the county must listen to and collaborate with our local groups who have already filled the gap in offering many services for many years in our area, including WAMCO and Poolsville Seniors. We do not want to lose the unique and innovative offerings our residents already appreciate and rely on. We know these programs fit local needs well because they're designed by local leaders and do not want to lose them as the community center is built. And I think I would be remiss if I did not also give you a public service announcement as I close my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brian Graben.
Good evening. My name is Brian Rabin, and I serve as Wooten PTSA president. Due to the terrible tragedy yesterday, our Wooten students won't be here to testify tonight. Tonight, I want to speak plainly about the condition of our schools and the urgent need for the council to address the growing crisis revealed in the facility condition assessments and the facility condition index scores. These are not abstract numbers, they are a warning system, and the alarms are going off across the county. Wooten High School is one of the clearest examples. The FCA identifies widespread deficiencies, aging mechanical systems, persistent roof leaks, inadequate ventilation, and environmental health concerns that no school community should have to tolerate. The building's FCI score places it among the most deteriorated high schools in Montgomery County, and yet for nearly 2 decades, Wooten has been passed over for modernization. When a roof leaks, it leaks on every student. When a ventilation fails, it fails for every classroom. And when mold grows, and it has, mold doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about zip codes, test scores, or school boundaries. It affects every child and every educator who walks through those doors. And Wooten is not alone. Magruder and Damascus high schools are also in serious need of attention. The FCA and FCI scores show significant system failures, aging infrastructure, and environmental risks that mirror many of the challenges at Wooten. Magruder and Damascus families have been waiting far too long for a clear path forward. Their concerns are real, their building conditions are documented, and their students deserve the same urgency and investment as any other community. Across the county, multiple high schools are operating with systems well past their useful life. Original boilers from the 70s, electrical systems that cannot support modern infrastructure, modern instruction, and HVAC units that simply cannot maintain safe indoor air quality. These conditions are not aligned with the values of a county that prides itself on excellence, equity, and opportunity. But this crisis is not limited to high schools. Cold Spring Elementary School must remain in the CIP. Cold Spring was simply not built for today's students. The building has fundamental, serious security vulnerabilities that cannot be ignored or delayed, especially after yesterday. Removing or delaying Cold Springs project would leave students in a building that cannot meet basic expectations for safety, supervision, and secure access. The CIP is where we decide where we are serious about our values, safety, equity, and the right of every child to learn in a healthy and functional building. For Wooten, Damascus, and Magruder, the need is immediate. Students and staff are learning and working in conditions that would be unacceptable in any other public facility. The communities have waited long enough. If Wooten and Magruder cannot be added to the CIP this cycle, then at a minimum, I request that the council fund feasibility studies for both Wootton and Magruder. These studies are the first step toward modernization. A feasibility study is not a luxury. It is the bare minimum required to begin addressing decades of deferred maintenance. During this Black History Month, I want to recognize James A. Cole, who made history by being one of the first Black principals of an integrated secondary school in Montgomery County. He served Wootton High School for 22 years and is the namesake of the James A. Cole Stadium at Wootton. And when Wootton is moved out of its own building, we don't just lose classrooms. We lose the legacy of leaders like James A. Cole. His history is tied to the school, to the community, and to the campus. You cannot relocate a legacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Noreen Kadir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noreen Kadir. I'm mom of 4, Wootton PTSA Vice President, former Cold Spring PTA President. I'm here to support fully funding for Cold Spring Elementary and also request for Wootton to be included in the CIP. I want to start with a brief story. Imagine a circus just as the show begins, and there's a center ring, bright lights, and the audience is watching every move. Every mistake is visible, and nothing is private. Now imagine this is not a circus. This is Cold Spring Elementary. Because of our 1972 open floor design, once called innovative, our students and teachers are on display whether they want to be or not. Picture a second grader having a hard day, a meltdown. A conversation starts between the teacher, the student, and the administrator. In the most schools, this happens privately behind a closed door. At Cold Spring, it happens in full view of all of the children. Students are not given the space to make mistakes or simply have a bad day. Labels form quickly, families talk, students talk, and once a child is labeled, it is incredibly hard to shake. This is not how Montgomery County Public Schools should be set up. Public education is supposed to offer equity and opportunity and dignity. How is this equal? This is why our theme today for Cold Spring is simple: safety first. Cold Spring was not built for today's students. It is a security liability for the county. Cold Spring was built in the 1970s using an open concept design that no longer meets modern safety and educational standards. It is the only remaining open concept elementary school in the county. Most of our classrooms do not have full walls or even doors with locks, creating a serious safety, supervision, and instructional challenge. Severe weather and active security situations are a significant concern. During severe weather drills, students are directed to far corners of the building and bathrooms. Spaces are often cannot hold entire class and cannot be reached in time during an actual emergency. Yes, yesterday my worst fear came true. My children's school, Wootton, faced an active shooter situation. I received a text that every parent dreads. We are on lockdown, and it's real. No parent should ever live to that moment. Cold Spring also was locked down. My second grader was protected by a partial wall, and my fifth grader was hiding behind a desk. I'm grateful for our children and that they came home safely, but fear does not end when the lockdown ends. And when I think about Cold Spring, my fear is constant. Cold Spring is not a safe building. Our children deserve a school built for protection, not a building where safety depends on luck. Each year, the principal must reconfigure the school just to function by adding classrooms or adapting to growth. This is not planning. This is a never-ending workaround building that no longer works. Cold Spring also serves as an enrichment center. It also can allow for Wootton and Churchill. It could also serve for Crown. With the right facility, Cold Spring could also serve 75 to 100 additional students. Cold Spring sits on a large campus, accessible right off of 270. This opportunity exists. What the need now is action. I want to thank Council Members Joando and Friedson for visiting Cold Spring over the past year, and I want to extend an open invitation to the Council to visit our school. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next, Daniel Press.
Before making an investment, my wife and I research meticulously. What is the quality of the investment? Are the reviews fake? What is the criteria for success? It can be daunting and has led to frustration. The kids have been waiting on the best deal for new toy for months. But we trust the process and our judgment. Tonight, I'm asking you to apply the same scrutiny when determining how to invest in capital improvements for our schools. I'm asking that you put Wootton back on the CIP with a directive that it remain on Wootton Parkway. More importantly, after yesterday's shocking events, I'm demanding that you use your leverage to reinstate the Student Resource Officer program to ensure our children's safety. Like many others, I can't believe I have to say this. Like many others, let me thank the first responders like the Rockville Police and also the teachers, staff, and others for their bravery yesterday. I also saw how County Council members offered their thanks. Please make those gestures meaningful by acknowledging the importance of the school law enforcement partnership and by reopening the SRO program. Gratitude rings hollow when unjust labels halted a program that would have placed an officer inside Wootton yesterday instead of off campus. An SRO is trained to identify these catastrophes before they occur. Prevention over response. I can't even look up. The principals and staff want them. The parents want them. Put them back. The requested CIP budget allocates over $1 billion to school replacements or renovations. The list is based on the CIP prioritization system, flawed in both mechanics and application. While I can't fully elaborate tonight, I hope to raise serious questions for you to ask. An 8-point system scores our schools on 4 criteria. FCI scores for 4 points, educational adequacy for 2, enhanced student needs for 1, and utilization for 1. Here are some key problems. First, utilization is inaccurate and not internally consistent. The data used for utilization scores isn't even the same data used for the current boundary study. Please ensure enrollment numbers aren't being manipulated. Second, air quality is part of the educational adequacy, but those test numbers aren't available to us. I'm not convinced mold is being accurately evaluated. Third, building condition is directly tied to the FCI score, which is helpful, but not definitive. It uses depreciation scales. 2 50-year-old HVAC systems can generate the same FCI score, even if one is poor and the other is fair. That isn't logical. Scoring must also account for actual condition. I don't think I'm asking for too much. A safe environment for my children and a school renovated on schedule. You're already behind. When it comes to the purportedly objective measure for CIP prioritization for school renewals, please fact check. Please ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to welcome the next panel. So I have Tula Atas, Nicholas Federico, Adam Goldberg, Junhua Liu, Brooke Rickett, Christopher Galt, Jason Perlman. We are going to start with Tula. Let's see.
Good evening. I'm Tula Athas and I'm a Wootton mom. Following yesterday's tragic shooting at Wootton, I'd like to begin by thanking the Rockville and Montgomery County Police Departments, MCPS, and Wootton staff for their swift response and for the County Council support. Now more than ever, I urge you to stand with Wootton to make the school safer, healthier, and stronger. Perhaps this tragedy could have been avoided if Wootton had still had a school resource officer, one that was allowed inside the building. As we saw, threats happen inside schools as much as outside. I urge you to install an SRO at Wootton with full access to the building. Please allocate funding to protect what matters, our children's health, safety, and well-being. This extends to a safe school building. Physical environments communicate values, and when a school like Wootton is allowed to deteriorate, it signals that disorder is acceptable, standards don't matter, and that the people inside those walls aren't worth protecting or supporting. The decisions you make today on capital improvements have far-reaching consequences. For Wootton, the CIP process has been a never-ending ordeal. 17 long years of broken promises, delays, rule changes, leapfrogging, and finally ejection from the CIP. In 2009, MCPS promised us a renovation by 2018. Then came a series of delays. Astonishingly, you allowed Poolesville High School, who wasn't even on the CIP, to jump ahead of Wootton. Poolesville is now rebuilt. Don't we teach our kids to be patient, to wait their turn, not to skip lines? Does that moral code not apply to you? Wootton has waited its turn patiently for 17 years, but we never get to the end of the line. It just keeps getting longer. In 2024, our completion date was delayed to 2029, and last year you removed Wootton from the CIP entirely. Frankly, the timeline is very suspect. It begs the question, is there an ulterior motive at play? Wootton remains a disaster. Its FCI score is amongst the worst in the county. Its HVAC, plumbing, and electrical systems are failing. Just today, Wootton's power failed again. For years, parents have been complaining and submitting work orders to address mold, air quality, non-functioning water fountains, and toilets. This is unacceptable. We don't live in a developing country. We live in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is one of the most affluent counties in America. How is this even possible? It is unconscionable. Now MCPS is attempting to fix this with a bait and switch, moving us to Crown in a ploy to hush us up and distract from their years of mismanagement. Kill two birds with one stone, give them a safe building, but in the process destroy a thriving cluster, dismantle a 55-year legacy of excellence, and create unnecessary anxiety and chaos for high schoolers caught in a transition. How is that equitable to our students? This is a burden to students who should instead be focused on setting themselves up for success in college and in life. Option H is a mistake. It creates more problems than it solves and is anti-growth. Please add Wooten to the current CIP cycle. At the very least, fund a feasibility study that creates a clear path to modernization. Take accountability, make amends for past mistakes, earn our trust, and keep your promises. Use your leverage to convince the board to reject Option H, and above all else, please do right by Wooten. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Nicolas Federico.
My name is Nick Federico, and I'm a Cold Spring Elementary School parent to a kindergartner and a second grader. I'm testifying in support of including Cold Spring and Wooten High School on the 2027 CIP. Thank you to County Executive Ellerick and Council members Jawando and Friedson, who recently visited Cold Spring. Cold Springs building was designed for a different era. It was built in 1972 with an open concept floor plan, never renovated since. This means there are no walls or doors between classrooms. Instead, makeshift stacked furniture divides classrooms. This makes teaching more difficult and learning with distractions and noise commonplace. But more seriously, this design creates critical safety and security risks. During yesterday's incident at Wooten High School, Cold Spring was in lockdown and my kindergartner had to hide in a closet for more than half an hour since there are no locking doors or walls in her classroom. A Cold Spring renovation is urgently needed to fix this critical design flaw and safety issue. Funding the Cold Spring renovation will not just help my kids, but will also help other kids who attend Cold Spring through the Center for Enriched Studies, which serves students across the county. Aside from the security concerns, we're also outgrowing the building. Over the last few years, enrollment has steadily increased, so we're now near capacity. Funding in the CIP will allow the Board of Education to expand the center and welcome more students across the county as part of the upcoming elementary boundary study. Cold Spring has been on the CIP since at least 2014, with promises to renovate by 2019 that remain unfulfilled. Its facilities condition ranks as one of the worst and is in dire need of replacement under the current assessment criteria. For too long, CIP decisions have favored overcrowding fixes while ignoring aging schools with stable enrollment. Wooten High School is another perfect example of this CIP neglect, with unfulfilled promises of renovation for 2 decades, and then removal from the CIP. Sadly, many Wooten cluster schools have faced similar treatment and have been deprioritized under the CIP process. Under the current CIP framework, projects linger for years on the CIP and then get suddenly removed or have funding pulled, with other new projects cutting the line. Schools with delayed or canceled CIP projects often end up worse off than new projects, which jump the line, since schools on the CIP are often not eligible for capital repair projects while they're waiting on the CIP. I urge the Council to reform the CIP process and investigate additional funding sources so it can fully fund the CIP requests received from MCPS. The school CIP backlog is too great. Montgomery County's future depends on it. Please support Cold Spring and Wooten on the CIP. My children deserve the same safe learning environment every other MCPS student has. This is a critical safety issue that cannot wait. To those of you who haven't visited us yet, please do so you can better understand the facilities challenges we are facing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Adam Goldberg.
Good evening. My name is Adam Goldberg, and I'm a proud parent of 2 children at Cold Spring Elementary School. What we experienced yesterday was one of our community's worst nightmares. More importantly, it was a day where I wished that our elementary school classrooms had walls and doors like every other school in the county. I want to thank Superintendent Taylor, the Board of Education, and the County Executive for recognizing Cold Spring's safety needs and including our school in the recommended CIP. Now, I'd like everyone to close their eyes and travel back in time to a magical place called the 1970s. Where disco music, tight bell-bottom jeans, and shag carpeting reigned supreme. Another great idea at the time, building a state-of-the-art school with a large warehouse-style learning environment. Fast forward to today, Cold Spring remains the only open-concept school in the county. Our students learn in classrooms without full walls, without doors, without locks, without separation from other classrooms. Perhaps groovy in the 70s, but not for today's students. Unfortunately, emergency preparedness standards do not align with our 1970s building design. During Cold Spring's security lockdown yesterday, our students and staff were forced to move together through spaces where walls and doors don't exist, to shelter together in corners and closets. We shudder to think what happens next time. We are grateful for the new data-driven Facility Condition Index, which recognizes Cold Spring with one of the worst school ratings in the county. While we wait, our community is focused on practical safety improvements. We've applied to participate in a security assistant pilot program. We've urged MCPS to explore temporary, cost-effective ideas like modular walls and doors. I want to thank the county executive. I want to thank council members Jawando and Friedson. And I want to thank MCEA leadership for visiting Cold Spring over the past year. It means a lot to us. And I want to extend a warm and open invitation to the rest of the council, who are welcome to visit and see firsthand our school's current safety challenges. We understand the county faces significant budget pressures, and funding dollars for MCPS are finite. We welcome continued dialogue around creative solutions beyond debt issuance, including potential public-private partnerships. The CIP is more than a construction project. It's an investment in safety, in equity, and our children's future. If we do this right, the only place our kids will experience the 70s again will be in a history lesson.
Thank you. Next, Junhua Liu.
Good evening, council members. My name is Junhua Liu, a Wooten Cluster Coordinator, speaking on behalf of Wooten community regarding the recommended FY27-32 CIP and the proposed relocation of Wooten High School. Yesterday's tragic shooting is a reminder that safety issues at Wooten have existed well before this event. For almost 2 decades, Wooten's renovation have been delayed over and over again. Now, despite overwhelming evidence of facility failure, Wooten remains absent from FY27-32 CIP recommendations. With no funding and no timeline, that's unacceptable. Safety failures demand funding, not displacement. Facility assessment confirms that Wooten is the second worst high school in the county. Wooten is the only high school rated poor in both HVAC and plumbing systems. These are core life safety systems. Students should not have to change schools to be safe. Boundary study recommendation raises serious concerns. Relocating an entire high school community 4 miles away while leaving the existing Wooten building behind was proposed without proper community input and without addressing the underlying capital responsibility. Wooten is a top-ranked school, strong neighborhood high school, attract families, support the county tax base, and benefit county's long-term planning. Using boundary changes instead of capital investment sets a dangerous standard affecting all schools. Boundary changes cannot and should not be used as a substitute for capital investment. Finally, equity concerns cannot be ignored. Wooten serves a highly diverse population. When a high-performing, diverse school is repeatedly denied capital investment and then proposed relocation instead of renovation, it raises serious equity concerns. Equity does not mean moving students to solve a facility problem. Equity means investing in communities that have been deferred for years. We ask the county council to designate immediate CIP funding for Wooten's safety and infrastructure needs, hold MCPS accountable for long-delayed capital obligations, require transparent decision-making with community engagement. Wooten students and staff deserve safe facilities without relocation. Cold Spring Elementary School's open design also needs attention. Keep it in the CIP to remedy noise distractions and safety issues. Thank you for your time and for standing up for safety, equity, and accountability in Montgomery County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Brooke Rickett.
Good evening, council members. My name is Brooke Rickett, and I am the PTA president at Cold Spring Elementary School and the parent of 4 children,
all currently attending Cold Spring in 5th, 4th, 2nd, and kindergarten. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge yesterday's tragic incident in our school cluster and hold the affected families, students, and staff in our thoughts. It is not easy to speak this evening, especially on the topic of school safety, in light of these events. I am here tonight on behalf of a community that has been showing up for more than a decade. Cold Spring community members have testified year after year about our school's urgent facility needs. We have seen moments when Cold Spring was included in the SIP, only to see funding later withdrawn. Tonight, we are asking you to make this time different, to follow through on the recommendation before you, to fully fund Cold Spring Elementary School project and see it through to completion. I recognize the difficult budget decisions before you, and I appreciate the responsibility that you carry. I'd like to briefly share why funding the Cold Spring project is so critical for our students and community. Cold Spring is the last open concept school in Montgomery County. Classrooms without doors and walls. Teachers create makeshift barriers out of bookshelves and cubbies simply to define a space. The result is constant noise distraction and real safety limitations. Voices, lessons, and hallway sounds blend together, making it difficult for students to focus, process information, and fully engage in learning. Imagine trying to teach reading comprehension while another class practices multiplication just a few feet away. Beyond the daily instructional challenges, the layout also creates serious safety concerns. During drills, many students must move across public areas to reach secure spaces. Yesterday, my 5th grader was in a storage closet with 36 students during a lockdown, lasting more than 30 minutes. Our staff has done everything possible to adapt, but structural problems cannot be solved without walls and doors. I want to thank Council members Jawando and Friedson for visiting Cold Spring and seeing our building firsthand. Your willingness to walk the space, hear from staff, and observe the realities of the open concept layout meant a great deal to our community. I would invite and encourage other council members to visit as well, because seeing the learning environment in person makes clear why this project is so important to our students and our community. We respectfully ask the council to fully fund the Cold Spring Elementary School project and move it forward to completion. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Christopher Gott. There you go.
Good evening, members of the Montgomery County Council. My name is Topher Gott. I am here tonight as a Gaithersburg resident and Montgomery College Performing Arts alumnus. Thank you for supporting Montgomery College, and please support Montgomery College's capital budget request this year, including the Theater Arts Building renovation. I am a lifelong Montgomery County resident with no intention of living anywhere else. Graduating from Poolsville High, where I was a member of the Midnight Players Drama Club, where I figured out that I really wanted to pursue a career in theater. After participating in Montgomery College's summer dinner theater program, I decided to attend Montgomery College, and today, thanks to my experience there, I am employed as the Master Carpenter at Imagination Stage. Montgomery College's Performing Arts program was great. The professors, they were all very knowledgeable, most of them active members of the local theater community, and they were even able to give me leads on where to find jobs and served as references for me. Thanks to them, I've worked for theater companies all over the D.C. area, from small black boxes to the Shakespeare Theater Company at the Harmon Center, and now for Imagination Stage. Montgomery College is known and respected by the local theater community, where a lot of our graduates work. When a beloved faculty member passed away a few years ago, the turnout for his service was astounding, with theater industry folks from all over the DMV area present and sharing how Montgomery College helped shape their careers. Students have access to incredible faculty and opportunities. Now they need a modern theater arts building. They need a building that has an electrical system that can handle lighting and sound systems that theaters use today. They need a building with an HVAC system that's up to date, important for many reasons, including ventilation for carpentry and painting as we build sets. I can personally attest to that. I've spent hours in that scene shop working on welding projects. And they need more usable space for rehearsals and classes. A modern facility combined with the faculty and productions, including summer dinner theater, will give the Montgomery College Performing Arts students a great start to their future careers in the theater workforce. They will join any Montgomery College alumni who already work in this field like me. So please, support Montgomery College's capital budget and renovation to the Theater of Arts building. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Jason Perlman.
There you go. Good evening, council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Jason Perlman. I've been working with the Parks Department in planning for skate parks in Montgomery County. I'm a 54-year-old skateboarder and freestyle scooter rider and a parent who believes that every kid should have a sport. Every sport isn't for every kid, but for every kid, there is a sport. However, kids traditionally have only 5 sports to choose from: baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and everything else. Everything else is a descending order taught by school-based team sports where if you don't make the team, you can't do the sport or use the facilities. However, further down the list are sports where you don't need to make a team, don't need to spend a lot of money, can freely use the facilities, are inclusive and just right for many kids and adults currently lacking access or exposure to these sports. Funding the Whedon Action Sports Park would solve this issue. The park will provide access to skateboarding, scooter riding, inline skating, BMX, bicycle pump tracks, cycling, parkour, and climbing, and other action sports, providing many physical and mental health benefits, social and community building opportunities, positive life skills for youth and adults, sports that are in demand and growing, yet lacking infrastructure. This park will attract users from across Montgomery County and surrounding counties, from across Maryland and the region, and if you build this world-class park, users from around the country, and when they come, they will bring commerce, tourism, and related revenue. They'll shop, eat, and stay at Montgomery County businesses. It's a net positive recreationally and financially for county residents, visitors, and business owners alike. The user communities exist. The demand is there, and now is the time to fund, build, and enjoy the Whedon Action Sports Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today. We're going to call the next panel. First, Jill Spivak, Rebecca Jacobs, Nancy Floyd, Anita Neal Powell, Catherine Stalker, Sakina Magruder, and Ajub Sharma. Again, please state your name on top of your remarks, and you have 3 minutes. And we're going to start with Jill. Miss Jill. Who is Miss Jill? Oh, there you go. You go ahead.
Before I begin, I want to share that 2 of my children were very close to the shooting at Thomas Wooten yesterday. They witnessed the faculty heroically rushing toward the trouble. Their teacher, Keith Schwartz, then watched over them for hours, and it's like hard to talk about it, but quite plainly, I lack the proper words to express my gratitude to all who responded yesterday. Today, I'm here as an MCPS mom of 3. I thank those who have testified before me regarding the state of our public school system, specifically hearing names like Wooten, Magruder, Damascus, and Cold Spring over and over again, because it gives me the luxury to tell you a story. So I grew up on a farm in upstate New York, and we made the most out of nothing. And in the early 1980s, we did not have indoor plumbing. We did not have central heating. We had no reliable transportation, and we actually shared a telephone line with our neighbors whom we relied on through thick and thin. And I grew up differently, and it gave me the ability to see and solve problems differently. And I grew up to become a nurse. And in 2004, I got a call, and they said, Jill, we've got a 5-pound baby down here who needs a life-saving procedure, but the machine that we need to use will only work on a 10-pound baby. And they said, can you help us? And I said, I'll be right down. So I ran to the baby's bedside and immediately began using tools to bypass the manufacturer's safety recommendations that prohibited the machine from working. And it worked beautifully. And I'm telling you this story because right now, it is time that you're going to need to bypass the manufacturer's safety recommendations in order to come up with creative solutions to control and increase your CIP. It's going to come down to that, okay? It is time. Please, this is the only way that you're going to prioritize MCPS in the CIP. You're going to have to shatter the traditional restrictions that limit funds. You're going to have to create avenues that gain equity for schools, that you're going to have to use, like, engage your persuasion and your leadership to acquire assets, and then you're going to have to encourage other people to do the same thing, because the old approaches are failing us. Remember why you wanted to serve, inspire your talents. You could be the council that finally prioritizes MCPS, prioritizes our children, prioritizes the future of this county. I'm a Wootton mom, and I'm empowering you to increase the CIP. Our children's victory is in your hands.
Thank you. Next, Rebecca Jacobs.
Thank you, Rockville Police, Montgomery County Police, Fire Department, and MCPS teachers and staff who kept students safe after a 16-year-old brought a gun to Wootton and shot a student in the hallway. It is hard to read these words. I acknowledge the council's heartfelt message about school safety, but today our county's commitment to our children feels hollow. When I had two children in lockdown, one at Falls Mead and one at Wootton. Mom, where's the shooter? I don't know. Mom, is he in the building? I don't know. No one should have to write their son a text like that. We cannot expect our police officers to risk their lives entering buildings only during emergencies while refusing to let them to be present when it matters most, before tragedy strikes. School recess officers were removed from our school despite principals. Please, this decision has consequences. And this failure to protect our children didn't start yesterday. 17 years ago, my son was born in the Naval Hospital in Sicily. We moved to Rockville for great schools. My husband cared for wounded veterans at Walter Reed. Having grown up with a single mom and on scholarships, I felt so lucky to join MCPS. Simultaneously, in 2009, this county promised Wootton families a full modernization by 2018. For 19 years, you delayed. A feasibility study was completed in 2015, but a design was never completed. No construction money was ever appropriated. 17 years later, my son is a junior, but that 2009 promise broken. In 2019, the council reprioritized. Crown, Poolsville, Northwood, and Woodward all leapfrogged over Wootton. Wootton students with the highest population of Asian students in the county got institutional abandonment. By 2024, completion has slipped to 2029. Wootton has been removed from the CIP. 17 years, my son's entire childhood. The timeline has been reduced to a shrug. And what is 17 years of delay due to our children? Total system failure. Original 1970 plumbing so corroded it causes mold. Dead rats, leaking roofs, gas leaks, asbestos. And we wonder why our student behavior suffers when we send kids the message every day they don't matter to fix their school. Physical environments communicate values, and when a building is falling apart, it signals that disorder is acceptable, and students internalize this message. We would love the new AI gun technology Dr. Taylor discussed, but our school can't handle AP tests without the power going out. Even today, when students were receiving counseling, the power went out. The joke writes itself. Dr. Taylor's proposing option H, closing Wootton, ranked number 3. And you want to use this as a holding school? Why spend millions to patch up a failing building for temporary use? Spend the money to modernize it properly. The traffic was insane yesterday. It took me 90 minutes to try and meet my son at Frost. This area cannot handle that volume of buses required for a holding school. You're removing a comprehensive high school from the fastest growing corridor in Montgomery County, and MBIA has raised alarms. Worst of all, option H appeared late in the process, limiting meaningful community input. 17 years of broken promises. Reject option H, please. Put Wootton back on the CIP, and after 17 years, keep your word and show our kids that they matter.
Thank you. Next, Nancy Floyd.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nancy Floyd, and I'm a first grade teacher at New Hampshire State's Elementary School. I'm in my 30th year of teaching, and I've worked at New Hampshire State's for 13 years, the longest I've ever stayed in one building. I understand that mold and air quality have been a serious problem at NHE over many years, But on a personal level, I was diagnosed with bronchitis multiple times while I was working at NAG, well, since I began. I have had asthma for many years, but until I began working at this school, I had no need for daily medication, but now I do. My new respiratory struggles got my doctor's attention. She asked if I worked in a sick building, a building with mold. She asked me to consider leaving NHE for another school and also recommended that I go through allergy testing. My test results revealed a high sensitivity to one of the mold types found in my school. This is the same mold that ruined one of my carpets that I bought with my own money, books, carpets, total carpets downstairs in the lower level, and teacher documents. All of these things had to be repaired and repaid by MCPS funds. The same mold that may be contributing factor to sinus infections and headaches that my peers and my students experience. Frequently, 1 or 2 of my students complain of a headache every week. This has been going on for many years. I've never had first graders complain of headaches before. I have 4 kids. They've never complained of headaches as a kid. I am now in my 5-year treatment course for my mold allergy. I self-administer 4 allergy shots a week. I also suffer from migraines, and I take medication for that. And mold is a contributing factor to migraines. But despite all this, I really love teaching at NHE. We could be a complex school to work in. We typically have the highest farm rates of all MCPS elementary schools. We have a very high percentage of English language learners. These pressures of poverty and trauma that can result from the immigration experience color the lens which the teachers have to work with the children in the community. But we still attract qualified, dedicated teachers who look forward to this kind of a challenge. But I worry that we won't be able to keep our great staff, and we really do have a great staff. I'm willing to make some changes medically to stay at this school, but others aren't. We want to keep our team of teachers and not lose them due to the poor health caused by building conditions. I know you're under pressure to make difficult decisions regarding the needs of our county. Our parents are not comfortable speaking out for funding. That has worked for other schools, but won't work for ours. But at some point, it becomes clear that you just have to do the right thing and fund even the quiet schools. Our building is 72 years old. I'm asking that you prioritize funding to replace our building, but in the immediate need, take care of our HVAC system, and especially this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Anita Neal Powell. Go ahead, Ms. Powell.
Good evening, Montgomery County Council President and council members. Thank you for letting me speak. I am Anita Neal Powell, First Vice President of the Montgomery College Alumni Association Board of Governors. I'm here to respectfully request your support for full funding of the County Executive CIP to renovate and expand the Theater Arts Building at the Rockville campus and to invest in our students' future. Enrollment in theater arts have grown, and our facilities must be updated to meet current academics and industry standards. Modernization, spaces, technology, and equipment are essential for student success and will also benefit community use. Attending theater classes and performance space at the facility is very critical because it offers students an opportunity to participate in acting, showcasing their talent, through specialized training and developing technical skill sets that will last beyond their Associate of Arts degree. It actually prepares the students for performing on stage and stage carpentry, stage and stage hand, etc. Using the theater stage for events and performances hosted by the community has provided opportunity for individuals to move beyond the space, including high school students. A former high school student who is now a current student at Montgomery College had the opportunity to audition on American Idols. He is very talented and continues to sing at programs, county, and national events across the county. I will share a quote with you by Shaquille Stewart, Montgomery College alum, class of 2015, who stated, "I built a successful career as a professional actor, director, and leader, and performed on national tours, etc." In closing, I share the 2 stories with you because it is important that we realize that students who attend or graduate from Montgomery College through various performing mechanisms shines a light on the college as well as that county, especially when they become known outside of the college. I have many more stories that I could share, but I will stop here and ask that you fully fund the capital budget request provided to you on behalf of Montgomery College faculty and students. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much. Next, Catherine Stalker.
Dear President Fani Gonzalez, council members and staff, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kathy Stalker, and I'm the MCC PTA Area VP for BCC Whitman and WJ clusters. The proposed MCPS CIP is a big swing. We appreciate Dr. Taylor's forthrightness and willingness to take a hard look at our current needs and make a big ask. We all witness the impact of deferred facilities investment, especially when it comes to our HVAC systems. As just one example, small example, the humidity level is so extreme at North Chevy Chase Elementary School, the librarian has to empty the dehumidifiers up to 3 times per day. We agree that it is time, beyond time really, to face this daunting task and make the bold but necessary and strategic choice to tackle our facility needs at what we acknowledge is a hefty price. I would urge the Council and MCPS and our state delegation to work together to get creative. For example, would spending affordability guidelines allow for a bond issue specifically targeted to mitigate the HVAC backlog? Accelerating HVAC investment whilst also providing work to our local contractors and builders would be a sound public investment and provide local economic stimulus in our construction sector. Working together and ripping down the silos is going to be necessary in this formidable fiscal environment. We are eager to hear as soon as possible from the Council Infrastructure Funding Work Group, but we also need more expertise and more cooperation around data and how we better use data to make more prudent decisions. We make very expensive decisions based on data which is not up to date. When I call my cluster schools and ask for current enrollment, the numbers are always bigger than what I see on the written page of the published CIP. Also, special education services and special programs are also not always represented in how a facility is actually used. We need a system to better track what the numbers and needs actually are in real time. I know the Council does not have a lot of specific spending authority when it comes to MCPS, but I believe that the Council can request from MCPS and in fact assist in a more diligent, timely, and robust use of data to drive these big ticket decisions. I've been doing this work for a long time, and there was always this game of hot potato as MCPS and the Council toss the budget back and forth. It is MCPS's job, and my job, frankly, to advocate for as much school money as possible. And it is, of course, your job to remind us all that there are other things that Montgomery County must and should pay for. In the past, there were facilities projects that our communities needed, but that we could work around and live without if they could not be funded. We kicked the can down the road during the Great Recession and then during COVID. The road has run out, and that can be kicked no more. I know nothing is easy right now, and everything feels really hard. I'm confident, though, that if we work together, if we get creative and adopt the thoughtful and robust collection and use of data, we can take this big swing together, and we will hit it out of the park. Thank you all for all that you do for our students and their families.
Thank you. Next, Sakina Magruder.
Hello, good evening. My name is Sakina Magruder, and I would like to first say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And thank you to Evan Glass and Chris and Meek for coming to our school this year. Now, I want you to imagine a normal school morning. You wake up feeling fine. You're excited for the day. You're driving to work, your music's on, you're saying your affirmations, and you're taking your deep breaths. Then you arrive at school. 10 minutes later, you're reaching for your inhaler because you can't breathe. An hour later, your chest is tight. Your head is pounding, and you're coughing through your lessons. By midday, the fatigue is overwhelming, yet the school day is only half over. This may sound like a commercial for a new medication, but it isn't. This is a typical day for me and many of the staff and students at New Hampshire Estates Elementary School. My name is Sakina Magruder. This is my 23rd year in education and my 10th year at New Hampshire Estates Elementary School. I love this school deeply. It brings me great joy, but it also causes real pain. Our building has a long history of mold and air quality issues. Over the last 10 years, I faced serious health challenges, including breast cancer, lupus, asthma, migraines, chronic fatigue, and multiple miscarriages. My doctors, family, and friends have urged me to leave this building because they worry about the long-term effects of working in an aging school with mold. But I stay because of the students, the staff, and the community. They matter to me. When I walk through our halls, I hear the students coughing and wheezing. I see staff pushing through headaches and fatigue. Poor air quality, failing HVAC systems, and outdated infrastructures don't just create discomfort. They directly affect health, learning, and morale. Our students already face enough challenges. They should not have to worry about whether their school is making them sick. Tonight, I ask you to hear our story and respond with action. Please address the critical repairs to our ventilation and HVAC systems and vote to raise general obligation bond limits to the county executive's recommended level so we can get a new school building. Now, imagine a different ending to this story. A school where students and staff can breathe freely, learn fully, and thrive safely. That future is possible. Please help us make it real. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Sharma.
Good evening.
Please turn on the mic. There you go.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am Anuj Sharma. I am a resident of Rockville and a member of Wootton High School cluster community. Even though the superintendent has already made a recommendation for permanent closure of Wootton High School, I'm here to respectfully ask the council to urgently return Wootton to CIP. I'm a novice to how CIP work, but I know that Wootton was removed from CIP twice in the past. When I asked within my community, the answer have a common theme. It was political. For what I know, politics or bad decisions of that time, it has had a long-term effect on a stable community that is now grappling with MCPS's decision to close their high school, although it is wrapped in a blanket of relocation. What does Wootton provide to the community and MCPS? Wootton is a high-performing MCPS school, academically and in extracurricular activities. It has award-winning band programs, award-winning athletic programs. MCPS proudly published on August 20th, 2025, that at national level, Wootton is on the top of the list among its high schools. Among MCPS' own ranking, Wootton is consistently in top 5 for many, many years. What does Wootton get in return from council and MCPS? Repeated delay in renovation, and ultimately a recommendation to close the school. That is just unfair and unjust. Wootton is a contributor to the society and not a taker. Even with bare minimum resources given to the school, the above academic excellence of Wootton is product of decades of sustained efforts by its educators, administrators, past and current families, and the collaborative measures with its feeder schools. It is apparent to everyone other than MCPS planners that the upcoming school will be overcrowded due to planned expansions in Rockville and Gaithersburg. Overcrowded schools struggle with meeting every aspect of students' academic and extracurricular needs. Traffic will be nightmare. We have seen what can happen with so many buses on Wootton Parkway yesterday in an unfortunate incident. But apparently that is not a concern for MCPS, but it should be for this council and for the city of Rockville. Asking Wootton to be put back on CIP is not unprecedented. This council has done the same for other schools, even when they were not originally on CIP, by replacing Wootton's needs with those of the others. This time, I ask you to do it for Wootton. I had something else written, but I want to pose one question to all of you, that my daughter, who was behind a closed door yesterday and did not knowing who is knocking on the door from the outside, inside Wootton, she asked me this question a couple of weeks ago, but I think in light of yesterday's event, it is a prudent question to be asked to this council, to the city, and everyone else involved in infrastructure development. She asked, "Dad, why would they build a school at a site that is surrounded by so many hotels?" And I had no answer to it. I checked. The new school that is coming up, there are 9 hotels surrounding that school and none surrounding the Wootton. Now, the Gaithersburg High School or any other school.
Thank
so
you.
I would like you to please take attention to that.
Thank
you
you.
for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for this panel. We're going to move to the next one, which is all virtual. We're going to start with Kevin Harris. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Hi, my name is Kevin Harris. I reside in North Four Corners and own Zen Renovations, a design build remodeling company based in Silver Spring with design studios in Tacoma Park and Capitol Hill. I've been a member of the Route 29 BRT CAC since its inception. I'm here to urge you to remove funding for the BRT Phase 2 from the CIP on 4 grounds. The first is efficacy. Every single study to date, numbering up to 30, including the final mobility study report in July of 2020, has recommended the managed lane rather than the median lane as the recommended solution. The pronouncements by the county in its public information campaign promoting the median lane as the most cost-effective solution is in fact false. It's a lie. I urge you to read the study's conclusions. All forms of transportations, including the Flash, local buses, and passenger vehicles, will travel more slowly in the median lane. In spite of all the data flowing from the millions spent on studies, certain constituencies and council members have insisted that the median lane be chosen. As a business person, there is no chance in hell that I would look at all the data and to choose the least effective, most expensive solution. This solution could only be chosen in an environment where there is little public knowledge of the findings of the studies. Unfortunately, democracy and common sense do die in darkness. Recently, I met with Councilmember Glass, who committed to following the data. There is no way that you can look at the data and look at 30 studies and choose the most effective, the most expensive, least effective solution, particularly given all the priorities that we're hearing about tonight. On fiscal grounds, it's impossible to accurately estimate the cost of either alternative given rising construction costs. We need only look at the purple line to know that public infrastructure projects are always over budget. As you know better than me, the county is facing difficult economic headwinds. Now is not the time to choose expensive projects that will deliver negative returns. Our CIP funds will be much better spent investing in our schools, parks, and recreational facilities. For $150 million, much more benefit would be passed on to county residents by building another aquatic facility in another part of the county. The project has been a smashing success. Recently, Councilmember Jawando, I was at a gathering with him where he said that people come to Montgomery County for a couple of reasons. The two major reasons are for our schools and our parks. I live right on North Four Corners Park. The county has events regularly. Music, beer, people love the park. That is the investment that this council should be making in the county.
Thank you,
Two
sir.
more things.
No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, the time is up, but you can send your testimony to us. Thank you. Next, we had Siddharth Harishankar.
Good evening, County Council members. My name is Siddharth Harishankar, and I'm a sophomore at Poolsville High School. I am speaking on behalf of EcoMoco, where I currently serve as treasurer. While more than 40 people spoke in person today, I believe that number could have been significantly higher if transportation, especially in Up County, were more accessible and efficient. I know this because it is my reality. I am not speaking in person today because what should have been a 15-minute drive by car would have taken me over an hour and 20 minutes by bus. That alone demonstrates why transportation access matters. As a student, I rely on buses regularly, and I know they are an essential resource for both students and adults. It is critical that Montgomery County expands existing programs and creates new public bus routes, particularly in the Up County cluster. From a student's perspective, reliable transportation is essential. It directly affects our ability to participate in extracurricular activities, build friendships, and hold jobs. Last year, I attempted to join Musty, a dance group based in Clarksburg. What should have been an 11-minute drive took an hour and 20 minutes by bus. That delay made participation impossible, and I was forced to drop the activity. As a student in Poolsville High School's Global Ecology program, I had classmates and friends from across the county, many of whom live in Clarksburg. Yet I often can't visit their homes or attend events because the bus ride is simply too long. For students like me, this creates barriers to opportunities and reinforces divisions within our own county. This is also an equity issue. Many students do not have access to a car, and without efficient bus services, they are effectively cut off from extracurriculars, internships, and part-time jobs. Expanding bus routes would help level the playing field and ensure that all students have equal access to opportunities beyond the classroom. The environmental benefits of public transportation are equally important. Public transport has been shown to significantly reduce carbon emissions. The Kansas City Area Transportation Authority has found that households could reduce their carbon footprint by up to 30% by using public transportation, but that benefit only exists when transit is accessible and efficient. That is why I urge the County Council to commit to extending and increasing funding for up-county transportation. This funding should prioritize expanding bus routes and improving service frequency in the Clarksburg cluster with shorter routes, fewer transfers, and schedules aligned with school dismissal times, extracurriculars, and student work hours. Without sustained investment, these routes will remain unreliable and students will continue to miss out on opportunities. Montgomery County has been a leader in environmental justice for a long time. Extending up-county transportation funding is the next step in advancing our climate goals, promoting equity, and ensuring that all students and families across the county stay connected. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Diana Conway.
I should be unmuted?
Yes, you're good. Go ahead.
Thanks. Good evening, honorable members of the council. Thank you for this forum. My name is Diana Conway. I'm testifying as president of Safe Healthy Playing Fields. We're an all-volunteer 501c3 born here in Montgomery County, focused on equipping communities and policymakers like you with real data on the undeniable hazards of artificial plastic sports fields versus the impressive benefits of real turfgrass fields. The issues are 5: heat, toxicity, injury, cost, and disposal. Grass, well-done grass, wins on every one of the 5. So tonight I want to convince you to maintain County Executive Elrich's zero out of any new plastic fields and instead use the funds to create high-quality grass fields at those sites. The county executive also proposes that any balance be dedicated to the staggering needs for the HVAC in our aging schools. The irony of clean air and safe temperatures on grass fields with new HVAC versus hot, wildly toxic plastic fields is pretty easy. I've lived in the county over 30 years. Our 3 kids went to the Churchill Cluster K through 12, and each one was a D1 athlete in college. I hope you will agree to secure a commitment from MCPS to high-caliber grass fields that provide excellent sports fields for our students and the community, because we deserve no less. Money. The CIP would spend over $50 million just on plastic fields, including $3.6 million for just one at Poolsville High School, which sits atop the municipal well. I suspect Councilmember Balcom has shared they just spent millions to remove PFAS from that drinking water source, and this budget proposes to lay 2 acres, the MCPS budget proposed to lay 2 acres of plastic that its sellers agree contains PFAS because they need it for processing. 2 acres plus 1 billion PFAS plastic blades that start shedding out or breaking down to inhalable particles as soon as it's installed. That's a lot of surface area going into the water, going into your favorite athlete, never mind the dozens of other carcinogens, neurotoxins, and endocrine disruptors. So why not build grass sports fields in a serious, methodical way, just like we do for plastic fields? Just deciding something won't work is not the scientific method that MCPS teaches, and it's not what the Student Climate Action Council advised. Remember all those years arguing about tire infill until the county council finally agreed it was a bad idea, and then MCPS agreed, but then zeolite, then pine, coconut. There was lots of bandwidth to try all this stuff with plastic fields, but not grass. Back to the money. Did you know that a plastic field now costs almost triple what it did when we started buying them in 2009? That is not true for grass. Did you know the head of the trade group for Synthetic Turf Council, Melanie Taylor, recently highlighted the high variability of all the new infills for performance, durability, and cost? I thought those were the selling points for plastic fields. So let's do this. Let's run the test. Build the quality grass fields with experts and top flight inputs, just
Thank
like
you.
plastic fields get.
Thank you. Thank
you're
you so
welcome.
much. Yeah. We had to move on. The next one is Sheldon Fishman. Sheldon. I don't see you, Sheldon. I know how you look like, Sheldon.
I don't know what happened.
I hear you, though. You can speak. You have 3 minutes. Go.
Okay. Let me just go ahead and speak. Good evening. My name is Sheldon Fishman. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about CIP. I am here tonight as an individual to talk about targeted cuts in MCPS portion of the CIP. I have testified about MCPS budget many times over the years, but this is the first time I've ever advocated cutting funds for MCPS. I am very grateful customer of MCPS. Our 4 children got an excellent academic, social, and athletic education from Down County MCPS schools, and now 2 grandchildren who live in Montgomery County are getting a similar education. Thank you. My request is to support the county executive's recommendation to cut the CIP funding for MCPS by eliminating any new synthetic turf sports fields and replacing them with state-of-the-art grass fields. Also, replace unusable, out-of-date synthetic turf fields with grass fields. I support Diana Conway, president of Safe Healthy Playing Fields, in her statement and her data, which you just heard. For those council members who are experts in finance and very active on the financial aspects of the council review, every time you replace a current grass field with an artificial turf field, it costs at least $700,000 more than a state-of-the-art grass field with the same playability. Replacing every out-of-date artificial sports field with another artificial sports field incurs more capital funds right now and a an unfunded liability for removal replacement in about 8 years. For those members of the council who are particularly knowledgeable and are about climate and environmental justice, the environmental impact of manufacturing a plastic artificial turf field is significantly higher than for state-of-the-art grass field, and environmental justice implications are significantly higher. Finally, let me conclude with what the county executive said. Funding for artificial turf in outdoor play space and artificial infrastructure project is removed from the county executive's recommended due to the risk associated with concussion, knee and ankle injuries, head environment. The long-term post.
My friend, the time is up. Thank you so much. Okay, great timing. Next one is Kristen Cook.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
Hi. Okay, great. My name is Kristen Cook, and my family's lived in Montgomery County for 22 years now. All 3 of my kids have benefited from MCPS's amazing education system. I've recently retired from Nature Forward, and I serve on the steering committee for 350 Montgomery County. But I'm here to talk tonight as an individual, one that is vehemently opposed to using tax dollars to build hazardous synthetic turf fields. So I hate to repeat a lot of what has been said by others' testimony. So I won't. I mean, it's been covered so eloquently by Diane and Marion and Sheldon and so many other advocates. The high heat, how hot, how that can get to 200 on a 98-degree day, and how, that puts users at risk for skin burns and heat-related illnesses. The toxic chemicals, benzene, arsenic, VOCs, phthalates. I mean, and then because they're made of petrochemical products, they're highly flammable. So they put flame retardants on them. So chemicals on top of chemicals on top of chemicals. It's just unacceptable. And we know about microplastics, but so anyway, to cut to the chase and save us all a minute, the bottom line ask is to please reallocate some of that money that's being proposed for artificial plastic, disgusting monstrosity turf to instead use modern, state-of-the-art natural grass, or better yet, use the funds to renovate Damascus High School or Wooten. I mean, anything but spending our money on toxic artificial playing fields. Literally anything. I mean, for our children's health. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Ken Fine. Oh, we don't hear you. I know you're not muted. Nope. You can send your testimony in writing and we'll read it. I don't know what to tell you. It is on your side for sure. Yeah, maybe take your headphones off and try to do it without that. Unplug it. There you go. See, I'm a genius.
Yeah, that was, okay.
There you go.
Okay, good.
Go ahead. You can start now. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you guys. My name is Ken Fine. I'm an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in sports medicine. I have been the head of sports medicine at George Washington University and Children's Hospital. I'm the team physician for GW and several area high schools. Take care of professional and Olympic teams. I'm also a physician representative for Maryland County Athletic Trainers Advisory Committee. Here are my medical recommendations regarding artificial surfaces versus natural grass. I think personally, and I think most of my colleagues believe that in an ideal world, natural grass is the best and safest surface for sports. However, overused natural surfaces with ruts and irregularities are less safe than artificial surfaces. I've heard people talk about state-of-the-art grass fields, but I don't know any grass field that can withstand the demands that our county has in sports. It also has never been conclusively shown in good scientific studies that there is an increased risk of injury on artificial surfaces. It has also never been scientifically shown that artificial surfaces cause an increased risk of any other medical condition such as asthma or cancer. In addition, the benefit of sports such as soccer and other things that we play on these fields for the health, both physically and emotionally, of children is immense. Therefore, applying simple logic, I support continuing the use of artificial surfaces unless we could significantly increase the number of grass fields so that they could be used appropriately without overusing them so they stay in good condition. The reality, unfortunately, is that the majority of grass fields that I have seen in Montgomery County become dangerous as they are overused. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, this public hearing is now closed. We are adjourned. Good night.